and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra. Well, it's the International Women's Day, and it's that time of the year again when the spotlight is on women, their myriad contributions and their achievements, and how they're really leading the way in every walk of life. And on this special today, I'm joined by a woman who has not only broken all the barriers, taken unconventional paths to success. She is a dynamic young woman, has a bindas style, and is arguably India's leading Fin influencer. She's a teacher, a chartered accountant, a YouTuber, and an entrepreneur. And you all know her as Rachana Ranade. Welcome, Rachana. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Business Today TV. And here's wishing you a very happy Women's Day.
Same to you, Sakshi, and thanks a lot for having me on the show.
Excited to have you on BTTV. So, let me kickstart by asking you, at a time when most people really thought that women knew very little or nothing about finance, didn't know how to manage their money, couldn't take good investment decisions, you came in and began telling the world all about finance. How do they invest in stock markets? How did you really think of starting a YouTube channel? And did you expect the kind of response that you have really got at the beginning?
Yeah, so when I became a chartered accountant back in 2008, just to boast a little bit, I became a chartered accountant in the first attempt.
Okay, that's a wonderful achievement.
So after clearing, I had, of course, multiple options, starting my own practice, joining some MNC, and whatnot. But since day one, I always wanted to be a teacher. And that is the reason why I started teaching MBA finance students and CA students. So I taught them for almost 10 years. So from 2009 to 2019, I was teaching students. But then somewhere I was getting a feeling that whatever I'm teaching, that is getting restricted to the four corners or four walls in a classroom. So I wanted to explore something wherein I can convey whatever I wanted to without the barrier of these walls. And that is when I came across YouTube as an online platform. I started a channel in 2019. So the best part was that there was no barrier of a wall. There was no barrier of a state border nor of a country border. And that helped me to reach not only in India, but even outside India.
Absolutely. But then, help me understand, why are still very few women investing in financial markets, at least when we talk about India?
I think there has been one investment avenue which has been really close to our hearts since generations. And it said na that आदतें जो होती है वो छूटना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. There are a lot of habits, they die really in a hard way. And just to give some stat, Indian women hold almost 11% of the world's gold. So that is the quantum of investing women do in gold. And this is going to be a bit hard for women to change their liking from gold or from FDs, which are considered to be comparatively safe, than to move into comparatively riskier assets, something like a mutual fund or stocks. Crypto to filhal bhul hi jao. But even assets, still it's going to be difficult for them to come out of this zone of investing that they have been doing since years. So I think it's all about habit. We are bound by this, and ऐसे मतलब I think it's रणबीर कपूर's dialogue कि कहीं पे पहुंचने के लिए कहीं से निकलना बहुत जरूरी होता है. So अगर वहां पे पहुंचना है तो you have to get outside that zone.
Important takeaway. But what is your own success mantra? And if you can share it with all our women viewers, how can women make more money in, say, stock markets if they're taking a step today after listening to you? How do they do that?
I think it's all about confidence, Sakshi, because when I started investing in stock market, even I have made losses, and I am no different from any other person. In fact, recently SEBI also came up with a report, and they have also mentioned how many men who are investing in stock market, how much they are into losses, right? I think it's all about learning from your losses and trying not to make the same mistake again. So now assume that I have 1 lakh rupees with me, and if I that 1 lakh rupees in a single trade, and if I lose that money, what is going to be my conclusion? The stock market is a gamble. That's the only conclusion that I can do, right? But instead of that, if I break this 1 lakh into, let us say, 2,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, I have an opportunity to make a mistake, learn from it, and ensure that the next 5,000 rupees I invest, I'm not going to make that same mistake. So it's all about position sizing, is what we call in tech terms, right? That you should invest only that much money that even if I lose a little bit out of that, that should not hamper my sleep pattern. I should be able to sleep calmly even if I'm losing that much money. So have your risk appetite in place. Understand how much money you are willing to lose, and then only take small steps. These small steps will help take that big leap of faith.
Right. But like you talked about in your initial answer, that, we are heavily invested in gold. Women have always been taught that gold is a good investment option, or FDs if they really want to save their money. But in today's day and age, what are the key investment options which women can be empowered financially with?
I think the best option can be something like an index mutual fund. It could be a
Okay.
Nifty index mutual fund of any mutual fund house, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
always tell women that those who are especially fear, I mean, they are scared about investing in stock market. See, when you are investing in a Nifty index mutual fund, it's like investing in top 50 companies of India. So it's like you're investing in Reliance, Axis, or SBI, or Asian Paints, Larsen and Toubro. We know all these names. We have been hearing about these names day in and day out. So if
Yeah.
you get an opportunity to invest in top 50 companies of India, of course by market capitalization, but with an amount of as low as even 100 rupees per month,
Yeah. Yeah.
why that's the best thing that anyone can do, right? And no
Yeah.
one can give an excuse that I don't even have 100 rupees. So jhoot bol rahe, right? So I
Right.
think that's the best way to get kickstarted with your journey in investment avenues like mutual funds. Others, something like a PPF or Mahila Samman Patra, which
Yes.
has come up in the recent budget, that can be a good investment option as well.
Okay. And one, I was just looking at some of the visuals that all of our viewers also looking at, that you were speaking to so many women on the street, you've taken their experiences. What is the one most common mistake that you have found that they do when it comes to taking decisions with finances?
Major responses that I got is that they are not taking the decisions themselves. They are like,
Okay.
either my husband takes the decision on my behalf or my father takes the decision on my behalf. Chalo, still I will say that is acceptable to me. But the biggest mistake is that not knowing what decisions they are taking on your behalf. So I
Hmm.
always say that even if your husband is doing XYZ investments on your behalf, you should have written that in a diary or maybe in an Excel sheet, and you should be fully aware about where your investments are, what is the portfolio allocation, and who is the nominee to your investments as well, because that becomes very important in all such cases of
Hmm.
unexpected, things.
Okay. So, according to you, three money tips that you can share through this platform to all the young women out there who want to achieve financial freedom.
I think number one, start small, as I mentioned just now.
Yeah.
Don't start with a big amount. Number two, be very consistent.
Hmm.
For being consistent, the magic rule is SIP.
Yeah.
It's systematic investment plan, but I think my full form is save, invest, and prosper. So if you do it in a systematic way, that is definitely done. And third, very important mantra is be patient, because
Hmm.
whenever like we have been investing in gold, right? We don't go every on some platform and check every second that abhi kya ho raha hai, we don't do that. We are
True.
like, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to keep it in my whatever shelf or
Locker.
for like 10 years or so. Do that same thing for mutual funds, and I think India as a growth story is very promising in this decade. So
Yeah.
if we stay invested, I think we can enjoy nice returns.
Okay, so you've got the tips right, but are there any investments that women should urgently get rid of if they've been heavily invested in it?
I think if they have invested without understanding their goal, then they should get rid of it. So, for
Hmm.
example, if you want to meet a short-term goal, say paying fees of your child, and assume you have to pay the child's fees in June, and you
Yeah.
have invested that amount in equity,
Hmm.
that's a wrong investment that you have done, because you are meeting a short-term goal by investing in equity. So, in that case, I think if you are in profits, get rid of it, immediately switch that to something which is very safe. It could be an FD, it could be something like a T bill, a short term T bill, or it could also be keeping in some liquid mutual fund. So, if you have not matched your goals and investments correctly, that's a wrong investment, and get rid of that immediately.
Okay. And now, when we talk about stock markets, because our platform, most of our women viewers are actually interested in a lot of stock investments. They come to this platform for a lot of guidance right there. So, on this, if I want to ask you particularly that, how does Rachna Ranade really pick a stock, and your stock picking strategy, and how do you really spot multi baggers?
I think spotting multi-baggers for a retail individual investor is a myth, is what I always say.
Okay.
Because getting that, we always listen to stories like, I invested when it was 2 rupees, and today it is at
Mm.
50 rupees. Uh,
Yes, yes.
I don't think any retail individual investor is going to be of that style, because
Hmm.
we as normal people, what we do is double bhi ho gaya na, we are very happy, we are going to sell it again. My definition of a multi-bagger is even if it doubles, yes, it's a multi-bagger. Don't go for like
Okay.
20x, 30x. That is just, dream. Okay. What I typically check out for is the return on capital employed should be at least 15%. I check sales CAGR, sales growth CAGR. I check for the PAT CAGR growth. I love if it is again around 15% for the top line. Bottom line, at least 10% is what I look out for. I see if the company has good free cash flows or not. I
Okay.
check the management commentary very carefully and I try to
Okay.
understand what are the future plans of the company, whether they're coming up with new products, new plants, any specific strategy that they're going to come up with. And I mean, the story goes on, but just three, four parameters that I look at are the ones that I mentioned right now.
Okay. So if you can also help all our viewers really understand what is your own investment portfolio look like, say in case they want to take some inspiration from you because you have made a lot of money and your insights will definitely help them. Of course, in every investment portfolio has to suit different needs. But in
Yeah.
case you can share with us, what does Rachana Ranade's investment portfolio comprise of?
Yeah, so obviously it has to comprise of stocks, mutual
Mm.
funds. Both put together do form a sizable chunk of my portfolio, but
Yeah.
I think that should not be copied by any person and every person who is watching this because your risk appetite and my risk appetite could be different.
Yeah.
Uh, of course, it also has FDs. People do ask me, Rachna, तुम्हारा भी पैसा FD में लगा हुआ है? So because if I have short-term goals, I have to
Okay.
park my money in safe asset classes, right? So definitely, I have money in FDs, I have money in PPF, in gold a little bit, and a little bit in real estate as well.
Thank you so much, Rachna, for speaking to us. And here's wishing you again a very happy Women's Day. Continue to inspire more and more women. And we will continue to speak to you on Business Today TV to get more insights on markets also going forward. And here's wrapping up this edition. Wonderful speaking to Rachana Ranade. I hope you got inspired as well in case you've been looking for some inspiration to start off on your financial freedom journey as well. And with that, we wrap up. But do stay tuned on to Business Today TV for a whole lot more that's coming up right up your way.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.